Today we are focusing on electronic waste management in Kenya. And of course, joining us right now is Nancy Ng'ethe. She is the Business and Development Manager, Waste Electrical and Electronic Equipment Company. Nancy, thank you for joining us this afternoon.
Glad to be here.
Thank you so much. Maybe tell us, how is the sector looking like as e-waste management is concerned?
All right. Of course, we've come from Waste Center. Waste Center stands for Waste Electrical and Electronic Equipment. We are a leading recycling facility in Eastern Africa, currently headquartered in Utawala, Embakasi, and with active operations in Africa in more than 18 countries. Mm-hmm. The e-waste sector right now is a very interesting space to be in, and this is because of the high demand and appetite that all of us have to have newer versions of electronic gadgets. So we're always upgrading, getting new high-powered gadgets, whether it's at the kitchen or our young ones who are earning and are living, from social media and things like that. So in terms of where we are right now, we are finding very high levels of electronic waste coming in. And this is because, of course, we are saying the more people are buying the devices, and because of the low specs we are getting right now, a lot of the manufacturers are not, producing gadgets that have high span. So therefore, you find that these gadgets are dying very fast. So it means we are getting more volumes, and the trajectory, or rather what we are projecting, is that is still going to increase. So it's, I think it's a very interesting space now that all the statistics show that we are getting more appetite for devices, and manufacturers are not giving us very high, the lifespan being high. Therefore, the gadgets are dying. So we are in a very busy kind of a space. Yes.
And of course, looking at the e-waste management strategic plan that was launched back in 2019 was set to lapse in 2024. Is there a new one? And if there is a new one, what areas is it looking at, especially in the sector?
In the sector, yes. So we actually have an improvement. A lot of things have gone into. It's been revised a couple of times. We have the extended producer responsibility policies that came in effect in some time in May. So this makes sure that manufacturers, producers are responsible for the end of life of whatever equipment they are producing. So there is a lot of progress. We have a lot of focus. We have a lot of support from the national government and also the county government, making sure that now producers and manufacturers are keen on just not producing, but taking care of the devices that, have gotten to the end of life. So in terms of regulations, I think I would say we have a lot of those regulations. They've been revised. I think we are at a point now we are looking at execution, which of course now we have the regulator, NEMA, taking care of the execution, making sure that now those policies are effected. Yes.
And of course, many have touted Africa to be the dumping site for especially second-hand gadgets. So given that in this particular sector, give us some statistics in terms of how much gadgets do we receive, especially second-hand, or call them refurbished at the end of the day. How do we receive them in the country, and how do we manage them?
Okay, so in summary, right now we are looking about 53 tons of e-waste being generated in Kenya. And our numbers will show us about 5% or less is being properly recycled. Now, half of that would say is coming from, what would call the refurbished or gadgets coming in as a donation. But of course, we have a lot of effort from the stakeholders, making sure, for example, the cabs and such, making sure that the gadgets that are coming in are also within, in terms of working conditions. So there is effort from stakeholders to make sure that we are keen on the gadgets coming in. And of course, the outcry where, we are now aware. The community and the partners are also aware that, by the time you're receiving these gadgets, they better be in a condition that, they'll be able to service the community 6 years, 8 years. And of course, now that we already know where the end of life of this equipment goes, then it becomes, sort of a closed loop. Of course, we are not encouraging dumping. So we look at the number of years they're in good condition, they can serve our community. But then even if they get to the end of life, we know that we have institutions institutions like the WIS Center who are able now to come in and take care of the end-of-life equipment. Yes.
As you tackle that particular issue, especially your company and other key sectors, especially within this particular e-waste management, how do you ensure that whatever you are doing at the end of the day coalesces with the green economy? You know the government is banking on that. So how do you ensure at the end of the day you're protecting the environment?
Wow, that's a good one. Remember that even as WIS Center, our bigger goal is to take care of the environment, but now focus on proper disposal of electronic waste. So, and this, we know that electronic waste, if not properly disposed of, is able to emit whether it is hazardous gases when you burn things like the cables. Yes. You're able to get lead and mercury from a lot of these equipments, which will contaminate our soil, you know, and our soil and our water bodies. This directly then shows us that if we take care of the environment, then of course we'll have a more greener and safer environment. To answer your question on the green economy is that we are working very closely with the informal sector because we realized we cannot win this fight. You find a lot of these equipments are in the informal sector, the slums, and you know, people living in such places. So what we are doing is we take what we call the positive value electronic waste, and we are able to, you know, compensate them. So they do that. Does two things. One is we help collect those equipments from the slums and these areas, and number two, when we're able to compensate them, it means that they earn a living out of that. So we are able to make sure that they get a living, which also contributes to green economy. So that is how we are working, you know, with the youth, the women. We have programs right now which we're involved in training. Last quarter, we had a cohort of about 600 youth who came in, and we trained them on proper skills, how to dismantle the devices, you know, protective gear, because you have to make sure that you're protected as you're dismantling. And now we have people who've been able to put up repair shops, and they're able to earn a living through that. So that directly contributes to, you know, the green economy. Yes.
And as we're coming to a close to this particular interview, maybe tell us the challenges that you're currently facing and how you'll tackle them. And at the end of the day, the majority of these youths you're talking of are looking at you right now asking a simple question: are there opportunities within the sector?
Yes, we get a lot of that, and yes, there's an opportunity. I think you know, I would encourage a lot of the youth who are watching currently to just go to all our social media platforms and look for the WIS Center, and because we'll be able now to get in touch. You can call the numbers on the screen, I mean on the website, and find out the opportunities. The quick answer to that is, as I mentioned, we're able to compensate when you bring to us the positive valued electronic waste. That is one. And just to quickly go into some of the challenges, I think as we all know, we have very good policies in Kenya. Beautiful policies. I think we are at a point where we just need to make sure that these policies are properly executed. So I think the challenge would be just to push that a lot of these policies are sitting, you know, on the desks, are able to be executed properly by the regulators. Otherwise, I think there is good progress. We are in a good space. We encourage all of us to take care of our electronic waste, whether at our home level or at our working places. As we also end, it's also important to mention that we run a very good forum called Africa International Electronic Waste Conference, which brings global leaders. We are able to talk about, you know, the policies, the trends, the challenges, you know, in this sector, and how other countries are overcoming the same. It will be held in October on the 16th and 17th. You're all welcome. Kindly register on our website.
Okay, thank you so much. There you have it. You can register for that upcoming summit. That is Nancy Ngede. She is the Business and Development Manager at the West Electrical and Electronic Equipment Company. Thank you for making time for us, bringing us up to speed with the electronic waste management here in the capital. We'll continue this conversation another time, but to more business news.